Now we should be recording this so I can go back and look at it later on. What I want to do is share my screen and show you what I'm doing in Photoshop. So let's go bopping around here. There's my list of open applications. Here's what we look like in Photoshop. This is a room designed by Alvar Aalto, a Finnish architect, in a tuberculosis sanatorium in Finland. Looks like not much of a nice place to spend any time. But what we want to do is change, add, delete. So what I want to do is to show you how to do a change on this thing. I'm going to use the polygonal lasso tool. What I want to do is change the color of this back wall. This place could use some color, eh? So we're going to change the back wall here. And what I need to do is a selection of that wall. So there are lots, there are lots of ways to do selections in Photoshop. Some of them more successful than others. I will show you lots of different ways to do selections. As you see, we've got different tools up here for selection purposes. We will mess around with those as we go further into it. Let's just start today though with the polygonal lasso tool, because as you can see, pretty much every angle that we want to choose is a straight line. So the polygonal lasso tool lets you really easily go click, click, and select edges that are long and straight. This is good for packaging, for architecture, for things like that. So you can see how I've got to kind of go around and pick these spaces. I'll just do a quick one, and then I'll show you two more things. If I just double click here, it picks that whole space. I want to add some stuff. I forgot some things down here. So if I just hold down my shift key and click, it turns into an add. Notice now I've let go of the shift key because now it'll let me go back to running my polygonal lasso tool. So there's that, there's that, there's that. I can do more careful things in here if I want to. Again, double click, and there it is, it adds it. Now if I think, oh, I've already got this part of the lamp, I want that out of there, I hold down the Option key, and that will subtract it. Subtract me. Bingo. So that's how you add and subtract. So if I hit Command D, that will deselect it. What I have done is a fairly careful selection of that, and then I saved that. When I get all done with the selection, you can save your selection. It will save it as a channel. We will look more carefully at channels in a bit, but I just want to show you what that looks like. Channels are the colors of your file. There's the combined RGB, there's red all by itself, there's green all by itself, there's blue all by itself. This is an RGB file, as you remember from last year. That's what my alpha channel looks like. You see what I mean? I've gone through and kind of carefully selected things and then saved that channel, and I end up with this alpha channel. So if I turn that on, I can see what I've selected. In other words, the reverse of the selection. You can see what I haven't selected. But I can also load that. So if I go back to select and say load selection, now it says I want the alpha channel. Yes, I do. And it picks it for me. So it's selected that area. Now, one thing you probably noticed is that it's really crisp. This photograph is not really crisp. If we blow that up, you can start to see how pixely it's going to get and how blurry. So I want my blur of my selection to match the blurriness of the photograph. So I'm going to go to Select, Modify, and then I'm going to feather that selection by, say, 2 pixels. Okay. So now I've got a slightly blurry selection of that back wall, and now we can have some fun. I'm going to go back up here to layers. I'm going to create a new layer using my little hamburger menu up there in the corner. New layer, layer 3, sure, I don't care what you call it. Layer 3 right now has nothing on it. We are going to fill that, edit, fill. We're going to fill that with a color. What color would you like? I think we should fill that back wall with orange, because those people need some color in their lives, some punch, some life. Yeah. So fill with color. Okay, cool. Looks good, right? But it doesn't look believable. It looks like we basically just turned something on and went splat, orange. What we want to do, this layer, layer 3 that we're on, is set to normal, which means it's just opaque. We don't want it to be opaque. We want it to be transparent to what's beneath it. So if I turn on multiply right here, look what happens. I now look like the lighting that's on that back wall shows through and makes it look like we've actually painted that wall orange. If I deselect now, Command D, my marching ants go away and I get a pretty good look at what that wall would look like if we painted it orange. I'm kind of happy with that effect. I hope you are too. I'll talk to you soon.